Venturing from the calmness of single player to the dynamic world of online multiplayer is considered by many to be a daunting experience. However, with the right approach, it opens up a whole new world of racing. Hey everyone, hope you're all doing well today. My name is PJ and today we'll be getting the best out of online multiplayer in F1 2020. I'll be going over the things you need to know before you head online, the various ways you can race, and we'll also cover the things you can do to have the best possible experience. If this video helps you out and you want to get better at racing games, you can subscribe for more guides, but for now, let's get started. Before we go into the details of multiplayer racing, we must first answer a question: why race online? For many, single player modes like Grand Prix, Career and My Team are more than enough to get a great experience out of F1 2020. The AI drivers race hard and race fair, providing just the right amount of challenge to create exciting races. For other players though, online multiplayer is the way to go, as human opponents are capable of presenting challenges you'll never get from AI. Racing against AI can get predictable once you reach a certain skill level, whereas racing against human opponents is a dynamic experience. Your opponents react and adapt to your driving in real time and aren't afraid to battle you. I've been playing racing games for over 20 years and racing online for just over 10, and the main reason I am drawn to online multiplayer is for the mental battles I can have with each opponent. For me, nothing feels better than two drivers giving their best and going wheel to wheel, resulting in races becoming far more exciting than what I'd get on my own. To have those kinds of experiences though, there's a few things we need to learn before we head online. While online multiplayer can provide many great racing experiences, you'll need to be reasonably skilled to get the most out of them. If you're a beginner and you hop online, you may find races too intimidating to be enjoyable. That's where single player comes in, as it provides a safe space for us to develop our skills and build the confidence required to race online. First off, you'll need to learn the essential skills of getting a car around the track, such as how to brake, navigate corners safely, and the ideal line you can take into those corners. Once you know how to drive, you'll then need to learn how to race, knowing the different ways to pass a car, how to avoid crashes, and how your actions can pressure your opponents to make mistakes. I have several guides available on these aspects and link to them all in a pinned comment below this video for you to check out later, and you can subscribe to get more in the future. As you develop all of these skills, race against AI drivers as hard as you can, but always treat them as if they are human opponents. If you try your best to battle them without crashing into them, you'll develop great racecraft and will eventually be ready to head online. There are many ways to race online in F1 2020, from simple sprints to more advanced events that simulate a full Grand Prix weekend. Weekly events are similar to what you experience in single player. You can do free practice and qualifying sessions on your own, and your performance will match you up against other players of a similar skill level. On the weekend, you can then enter the race and battle against other players over a 25% race distance. Your lobby may feature a mix of human and AI opponents, making this a good place to try out what you've learned so far. Next, we have unranked lobbies. These are custom races that you can create to race with your friends, or you can explore lobbies that other players have made and race against someone new. As you browse the available lobbies, keep an eye on the bottom of the screen. Here, you'll see what kind of races you can expect, what cars you'll be racing, and other options like the length of the races and if there are qualifying sessions. As F1 2020 is a popular racing game, you'll often find plenty of unranked lobbies to race in. However, the skill levels of your opponents can vary wildly. Some drivers will be very fast, some drivers will be very fair, and some, unfortunately, will be neither fast nor fair. That can make unranked a frustrating experience for some players, which is where ranked play comes in. Ranked multiplayer is my preferred area to race online in, as it is designed to match me up with opponents of a similar skill and mindset to myself. Some of my best races in recent years have come from playing in ranked. In order to provide this experience, ranked multiplayer assesses your driving performance in every race, and eventually assigns two ratings to you. The first is a skill rating, a basic indicator of how fast you are. The second is a safety rating, which denotes how cleanly and fairly you race against your opponents. Once you have done your 5 placement races and received your ratings, you'll then be matched up with opponents of similar ratings in your future races. If you're quick, you'll eventually come up against similarly quick drivers, and if you race in a sportsmanlike manner, you'll come up against good, fair opponents too. Speaking of, no matter what racing game you play, when you ask a player about the online experience, you'll hear stories of crashes and accidents. You may assume that everybody is racing dirty, but the truth is a little more nuanced than that. In the vast majority of scenarios, crashes are unintentional and come from a number of sources. Some players may simply not be skilled enough to keep their cars in control. Others may not have understood the fundamentals of how cars share the road, while some were simply in the wrong place at the wrong time. You can mitigate all of these by understanding concepts like how the inside and outside line affect your approach into corners, how to properly attack and defend, and how to spot and avoid accidents. I've got guides in all of these, so subscribe if you want to learn more. With all of the driving and racing skills at your disposal, the best way to have great races online is to understand and demonstrate good sportsmanship and racing etiquette yourself. Avoid making contact with other cars where possible, and if a car is alongside you, make sure to give them enough space to round a corner. Ideally, you should stay within track limits too and not cut corners. Naturally, we're all prone to making mistakes or pushing too hard in an attempt to win, and if those mistakes result in crashes with other players, it's normally a good idea to give a place back if you force them off the road. A good, sportsmanlike battle is better than a high finishing position, and your opponents will likely remember you as a clean racer and give you the same treatment. Sometimes, you'll unfortunately come up against an opponent who has no intention of racing cleanly. Like Obi-Wan, you should take the high ground in these scenarios and resist the temptation to lash out in voice chat or post-race messages. You should also absolutely avoid revenge ramming to crash them out afterwards. I have often found that the best form of revenge is to catch up to them again, put them under pressure and pass them cleanly. That way, you prove it can be done, and anybody witnessing your battle will take notice too. Eventually though, you may want to seek out like-minded opponents in a more structured racing environment. Once you have reached a fairly high level of racing skill and experience, even regular online multiplayer lobbies may not be enough to provide you with what you're after. That is where organised competition comes in. F1 2020 features a league system where you can find scheduled races or create your own to race with your friends. In these, you and your opponents will likely be taking their racing more seriously, pushing their skills to the limit. Given how long it takes to reach a level of high performance in racing games, these drivers will likely have good racing etiquette too, so that they don't throw away all of that practice. If you want to take your experience even further, however, you can seek out online communities that run their own championships. F1 2020 is a popular game for this kind of activity, and many of the professional F1 esports players started out in these kinds of communities. I used to race competitively myself a few years ago. Some of my best online racing experiences came from competing in clubs like this, and even today I can recall some of the great battles and moments I had on track. If you want to learn more about how to avoid crashes in online multiplayer, check out the guide on screen now to learn more, or check out the video on the left for more tips and tricks. In the meantime, thanks for watching, liking and subscribing, and I wish you the best of luck in your next race.